At the same time, our reporter Manqoba Mqunu is at a tavern training event in Tembisa supported by the Gauteng Liquor Board. Taverns, restaurants and bars took a massive knock during the various lockdowns. So this is a step to try and prevent this from happening again. Let's cross to Manqoba now to find out how it's going. Manqoba, thanks a lot for joining us. What exactly does this training entail?
Well, this training really is about ensuring that the liquor traders here in Gauteng adhere to those COVID-19 regulations. Of course, this has been quite an issue of concern, especially from the side of government, which has really criticized some of the liquor traders here in Gauteng for not complying with those lockdown regulations in terms of the number of people that gather at these different liquor establishments, but also the fact that there seems to be very little social distancing, if at all, in some of these places, and as well the issue of taking temperatures from people and ensuring that people are safe in terms of COVID-19. There has been quite a lot of issues that have arisen when those government officials have done operations, police operations, where they actually found that many of the liquor traders were not abiding by those COVID-19 regulations. So this is merely a training session just to remind those liquor traders of what the regulations are and what it is that they have to do to ensure that the patrons that attend to their events, that attend to their places, are protected in terms of COVID-19. You recall that in just the recent days we've heard some utterances from government officials who have said that some of these, liquor trading places are actually contributing or are super spreaders of the COVID-19 pandemic. And so there is quite a huge concern with regards to the opening and the continuous opening of some of these establishments simply because they don't adhere to those regulations. But to talk further about this training and what it entails, really I'm joined now by Nitamne, who's from the National Liquor Traders, so is the convener of the National Liquor Traders. Lucky, thank you for your time. Let's start here, Lucky. First of all, there are calls, growing calls, if I can put it that way, of liquor or alcohol to be banned as the country battles the third wave of infections, more especially here in Gauteng. We've heard the Premier talking about even stricter restrictions here in Gauteng. Are you concerned at this particular time as liquor traders?
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Of course, we are concerned about the rise in the number of COVID cases in the province. And for us, we want to be part of the solution. Hence, we had engagements with the Premier of Gauteng, Honorable Makura, yesterday, to try and look at ways in which we can continue to support the issue of lives, as well as support the livelihoods of those that are dependent on the alcohol industry. And the Premier was very emphatic to say that, he's willing to work with the industry. And lest we forget, the alcohol is not the problem in terms of the rise in the number of COVID-19 cases, but we fully understand that the irresponsible usage of alcohol continues to be a problem that we need to confront. So for us today to meet here in Tembisa today is really to get our liquor traders to be re-energized, to really hit the call by the Premier to make sure that in their places of trade, in their outlets, they are fully compliant in how they conduct their operations. These guys that you see here today need to be champions in the fight against COVID-19 in their respective societies. We need this example to be set by liquor traders to make sure that we come together with our government in full support to make sure that we're able to tackle this pandemic.
But the reality on the ground, is that many of the liquor traders are simply not abiding by those lockdown regulations. I mean, if you drive around, some of these liquor traders, you can clearly see that, some of them have more than 100 people and that they're simply not complying with those basic COVID-19 protocols. So what are you saying in terms of compliance? What message do you want to send in particular to these traders?
So what we're saying is that, compliance makes business sense, but not only does it make business sense, but it supports the lives of our people. It supports the livelihoods of those that are dependent on the industry. We cannot have a situation where we've got non-compliant liquor traders because, they're really putting at risk the livelihoods of those that are fully dependent on this industry for survival to support their families. But also we are calling on law enforcement officials to really take, this matter seriously and really punish these people. If it means they need to lose their licenses, so be it. We cannot afford to have a situation whereby we have liquor traders that are not complying, that are not paying ball, that are not on the side of government. Really, those people, they have no role or any right whatsoever to trade in alcohol in the first instance. So today here we'll be joined also by the CEO of the Liquor Board, Mr. Raymond Martin, who's also going to express that message of compliance that our liquor traders need to adhere to, but also importantly, the license regulations that govern their trade, their place of trade. So for us, we are taking this matter seriously, and we want to be a solution in how the Gauteng government fights against the COVID-19 pandemic.
And just on that issue of liquor trading, of course, there has been quite a lot of calls for it to be banned by some organizations. What do you say to those calls that say that you simply should allow perhaps a liquor ban so that the hospitals are not burdened or they feel pressure of COVID-19?
I think we can be able to look at the issue of lives and livelihoods. I think a ban is not a solution. It's a blunt object that achieves nothing. The issue of alcohol is that it's going to be available even if you were to restrict or ban alcohol. We know that the illicit market, which has now since grown to 20 billion a year, which is 10% of the legal market, is going to thrive in an instance where alcohol is banned. We feel that we can coexist in the issue of preserving lives and livelihoods, and the Premier is open to that conversation. But I need to emphasize this. We are supporting the Premier in his stance to make sure that he stabilizes the Gauteng province, and we're going to work with him to make sure that we're able to defeat the pandemic together. We can only do this if we work together.
Okay, thank you. That's Nitamne, who is the convener of the National Liquor Traders. Of course, the training, as we expected, will begin shortly. We have seen quite a number of liquor traders, more especially taverners here, who have come to be part of the training program. Of course, they want to know and they want to enhance some of those COVID-19 regulations, of course, with fears that perhaps another alcohol ban could be on the cards here in Gauteng.
Well, like you pointed out, Manqoba, the key thing is not just the training, but compliance, making sure that after the training, those protocols are put in place. Manqoba Mqunu giving us an update about the training that some government, Gauteng, tavern owners are getting to become more COVID compliant.